Jesus. Good morning, world. I am officially at my Deload week, and I am about to show you guys what a full week of Deload looks like. So this clip is gonna overlay throughout the whole week from today, which is Happy Hari Raya to all the Malay folks out there, my people, and also so it'll be from the Hari Raya itself all the way to this Sunday, I think. So I'm gonna put the length of the date, below. Then I can share you guys how this Deload week went. So I just want to touch upon what a Deload week is, and then we'll move on from there. A Deload week is essentially an active recovery method so that you can reduce the fatigue accumulated from overreaching phases from your macro cycle itself. So as you guys know, a macro cycle would last typically of 4 to 6 weeks of lifting, and then by which you will follow up with a Deload week, which is essentially set up strategically to reduce the volume itself from the overreaching phase itself, which is the last week of the macro cycle, if that makes sense. So setting up some of the boundaries of Deload week itself has its own kind of landmarks, and I'm gonna show you a graph whereby I can completely explain out like what does this mean. So this line represents the amount of volume that you can do, but this would mean that oh wait, let me just change this up a bit so that we have different colors. Hashtag colors are attractive. As you guys can see, this is the total amount of volume that somebody has, whereby at this point of time, this would mean that the trainee is being overtrained. And at this point of time, it could mean complete rest, that means not doing anything else. So far we are on the same picture, right? Now, what the Deload essentially is, right, is to reach somewhere between this point itself. Now, why is it important that we do not dip past this point? It could mean a decrease in fitness itself. The Deload is essentially set up for you to recover and maintain conditioning itself. So it does not make sense that if I was to drop my volume way below what is required, I will not be able to progress as I want to. It down here that anything below here is a reduction in fitness, a reduction in conditioning. And also, although it is a plus point in the fatigue department in terms of the elevation of it. That means to say that even if you do deep down into this level itself, it could mean that your fatigue can be managed properly, and then you are still being able to recover for the next mesocycle itself. So that's a plus point. However, the aim of the Deload is supposed to set up in a way that you are still able to maintain the conditioning, maintain fitness, and alleviate fatigue. I think it's kind of contradicting that I put a plus point here, but you guys should understand that it is supposed to be a department whereby it helps in reducing the fatigue itself. So I hope that I set that boundary clear. Then again, we do not want to reach at this state whereby you are not even deloading. Some of these trainees, they put in too much emphasis that, since I'm not doing the strength reps anymore, I'm just gonna pump real hard, just get the pump out, just do like 5 sets of 10 of pull-ups itself, whereby they were not even doing it in the first place, which then this contradicts the point of them doing the Deload itself. And then you see there's a clash here whereby it falls way above the threshold of the Deload, and then they are not able to deload properly. So this is not good at all, man. Now, the best way to summarize all this is to reach this threshold of the deload itself, which you then can properly progress to your own goals and needs for the next mesocycle. So as you guys can see, I'm all dressed up and I'm ready to head to the gym itself. But before that, I'm just gonna go get my coconut juice before I make my intra shake later on in the workout itself, because I haven't had anything protein based, so it'll be important for me to get a protein source. I just noticed I'm wearing all black. It's a guy's thing, man. I have a black phone, my GoPro is black, I have a black hat that says almost famous, but barely. So okay lah, my singlet is not that bad lah, so the benefits of having the deload itself. So as you guys know that after an overreaching phase, we would schedule the deloads after that, as I mentioned previously. So what it essentially does is that the deload will reduce the fatigue that came from the mesocycle itself, and then help you progress on with the trainings ahead. So some of the benefits of a deload can be increased motivation for training, because sometimes after an overreaching phase we will not feel appropriate to just overreach again. So it's appropriate that we schedule this kind of trainings inside the after overreaching cycle, so that you can push further for your next macro cycles or your mesocycles ahead. Another point that I can touch upon that is a benefit is the replenishment of the glycogen storages. Even though you are not working out as hard as you can be, the deload also essentially serves as a purpose for you to still incorporate training volume inside, whereby they are still within the appropriate landmarks as I provided just now. Now, the replenishment of the glycogen storages also require muscle contractions and also require you to eat slightly at maintenance or a bit hypercaloric depending on your goals. For mine, I have chose to go around a little bit isocaloric for 3 days, and then I'll scale back after that. The reduced perception of fatigue from the joints also is a benefit. Now, why is that important? Because through mesocycle itself, our joints go through a lot of wear and tear, and that is not very good for long-term progress. Now, we want to make sure that we properly take into considerations that we are reducing fatigue on these joints because of those heavy weights that we are pushing, or maybe through training that you guys have, such as sprinting, having different kinds of training that involve joint contact, such as falling down, through basketball trainings, rugby. Through trainings like this, we accumulate a lot of joint trauma and also a lot of micro trauma. So by doing the deloads, it can help alleviate that. I keep saying alleviate that, and then help you progress into your mesocycle fresh, fully joint recovered, like a robot, like a Terminator, just revived, just stood up and just like, I am ready. No, not I'll be back, but I am ready. So yeah, these are some of the benefits that a deload can provide for you. So I'm at the gym now, and I'm ready to go do my workout. But before that, I'm gonna get some proteins, some coconut juice on, because I'm still a bit hungry. I was walking here and I was like, shit, I'm starving. So never mind, I'll just show you some of my sets later on during my workout itself, and then I'll let you guys know how I'm scheduling it. But basically, it's just a reduced volume for the deloads itself. A good way to determine how much you need to decrease itself can be a 40 to 60% reduction in the volume itself. And this is not recommended for everybody. Everybody has different needs, but I would think that if you want to start somewhere and start tracking progressively, this can be a very good place to start. So yeah. Smells like gains. So that set felt like a 3 to 4 rep in reserve, which is a very good range you want to be doing a deload workout in. You know, it's smart, it's fast, it's smooth, but then it gets to the point whereby it won't go to the point of whereby it has no returns, as in you're pushing yourself too much. So I hope that makes sense. So I think that's how one of my sets will look like, you know, during that. And it's I kind of dropped the weight for it. So I used to be doing 67.5 playing for pen lay rows. So, you know, I dropped it and I did 62.5 for the same amount of reps, but 2 sets lesser. Do like half the amount of volume that I need to do, and then I'm just watching some Phil Heath interview, then I just finish up the cardio. Normally I'll do 400 calories, so because of the deload I'll just do 200, you know, just to scale back. Yeah. Sometimes the active recovery modality also includes relaxations. So I think it's very good that you include this in your deload workouts. You know, just coming here for a swim relaxes yourself so much. Like, you know, just being in the water, be one, just feeling free, feel the cold water go against your skin, feels good. So I think that is a very important part of deloading, which is to relax. So try your best to not feel stressed and have relaxation techniques that will help you relax even further. Hey people, what's up? So I'm on my way to the gym right now, and I just came from work. So just a little bit tired, so I just got a little bit of the BCAAs and creatine, which you can see has melted into a strawberry cream fondue kind of paste-like looking kind of thing. So I think it's gonna be good. Decreasing your volume and intensity of the exercise. It's very important that you do that, and that's one of the most important steps into how you should deload. Because if you don't decrease your intensity and your volume and you just go inside smashing like, let's say 10 sets of really low intensity but volume stuff, the amount of volume that you can accumulate can be more than you have to accumulate, if that makes sense. So you guys should go about planning the deloads whereby to identify what is the accumulated amount of volume that you guys did the previous training session, and then maybe just cut it by half, drop intensity a little bit. And as the days progress and towards the end, maybe you guys still feel like a little bit more tired from the workouts itself, so that can be a representation that the deload may be too much, so you guys can scale down the deload and go a little bit lighter on this. Tip number 4 is to replace certain exercises with certain exercises. So for me, I used to do the trap bar deadlift as the main movement of the day, but now because of the deload itself, and I think this technique will require a little bit of tweaking itself, and it might not be as accurate, but I still believe that the number one priority of the deload is to rest. This technique will require a little bit of tweaking itself, and it might not be as accurate, but I still believe that the number one priority of the deload is to rest, and that you guys can pick different exercises that can work the same amount of movements for yourself, such as the trap bar deadlift that works the quads and the hamstrings. So as you guys can see here, that I actually replaced it with a hamstring curl and a leg extension, and that felt really good. You know, I just did some pump work, you know, get some blood flowing, and I did accumulate some sort of metabolite training, and yet I still did not compromise the effects of the trap bar deadlift. So that's tip number 4. Having to replace an exercise with another exercise whereby the intensity does drop. Oh, about to be home soon, so I'll share you guys more tips tomorrow, and then we'll end the vlog there. So I see you tomorrow. So I'm just back from training chest in the gym, and then after finishing up my push day, I decided to come back and then just run up the video of the deload itself. So if you guys don't want to watch the earlier parts of my vlogs and stuff like that, so I'm just gonna put this chunk of this information behind, so that you guys can just skip right through the video and come to the main point of how we should go about deloads and what deloads are. So essentially, I will begin this talk by describing what deload is. So what a deload is essentially an active recovery method that helps alleviate fatigue. So in a way, we all know that we have overreaching phases in our programs itself, and that we have to program a slight microcycle, which is 1 week or maybe 2 weeks of just planned light work to help us keep putting in the work in the gym and yet still recovering itself. Many of people will think that, hey, why are we still going to the gym? Why shouldn't we just rest actively, whereby we are doing a complete rest and not doing anything else, so that we can rest further and even better itself? However, there's a technicality here whereby the skills are not being practiced, and then your conditioning is not being further enhanced from there, because a complete rest can mean you just doing nothing, potato couch mode, lying down, watching TV, just chilling, So it's not productive, and in a way we are still going to progress in terms of our fitness, our conditioning, and whatever we need to do so that we can progress better. I have a graph and I'm going to pull it out to show you guys how it. So over here is where you don't want to be. This range of deload is good. In a way, it helps you maintain fitness, maintain conditioning, and alleviate fatigue. Over here is not good. This is where you don't want to be and where you are closely towards the overtrained area. So you guys want to be slightly in this range itself. So how do you be in this range? Well, this has go on to be an individual kind of tasking. You guys must be able to track throughout your mesocycle itself or macrocycle itself, and know when you are kind of pushing volume or reps whereby you have too little in the tank, and that would cause systematic fatigue. Those kind of workouts are tend to be geared towards the end of the mesocycle itself. So how you would plan your own deload is to see that you have records from before, and then start to cut the volume from there onwards, and then you can program itself. So then this crossovers to the point of why are we doing this and what kind of benefits bring coming from the deload. So a deload helps to reduce the perceived fatigue that you have. Many of you guys know that after an overreaching phase, you guys are bombed out. You guys cannot just take one more overreaching like microcycle itself. So you guys have to rest in order to do that. And in order for that to happen, the deload must occur, and that is one of the benefits that it brings about. Well, glycogen repletion is also very important. In a way, we are doing lesser, but having to eat and just recover from lesser volumes of training is also important. So in a way, it replenishes our glycogen storages so that we are prepared for the next mesocycle itself. Increased motivation or training is one of the greatest benefit that I feel can really benefit you from deloading. So after talking up about the deload itself, like how should you deload? How should we go about planning this itself? So I will list down a few variables that I have used out for my deload itself, and then you guys can assess whether you guys will want to use them or not. Number one is to reduce volume and intensity and cardio numbers, because as bodybuilders we are very structured in our numbers, and or maybe fitness enthusiasts like you guys, you guys know how much calories you guys are burning or how much activity time you guys are going to put in. So a good gauge that you can start reducing this volume and fatigue yet still progress itself and not stay away from training is to reduce it about like 50% to 60%. Just like remove it out for training for 1 week, and you'll see how it happens. But if you're still feeling a bit achy, you can reduce it further, or if you still feel that okay, it's a little bit too much, you guys can increase it. So play around with the numbers of the 1 week itself. Then maybe you can have like a first half of the microcycle and the second half of the microcycle with by 3 days of, okay, maybe reduced by 60%, and the other 4 days left it should be reduced by 40%. So you guys play around the numbers, so long as you guys are still in that deload range that I talked about just now, that would be great. Secondly, I need two tools. So it's secondly, is to be in an isocaloric diet or a hypercaloric diet. I feel that food produces its best recovery effects in terms of calories. After a good day of just pumping up your calories, you would feel a lot better. And to think about it, 1 week is not as much as you would think in terms of whether you will gain fat. I feel that if you know your stuff, that's why tracking is important. If you know what variables to manage with, you will know, okay, maybe just bumping up to maintenance. If I was in a hypocaloric diet, that means if I was dieting, I decided to bump it back up to maintenance, I wouldn't gain much fat, in terms of weight. Maybe I'll gain some water, some glycogen repletion in the muscles itself, which is beneficial for me. I feel that in the long run, it will benefit you in terms of how you program this deload by weeks of having just maximizing recovery tools as much as possible. Now I would say that if you are dieting and after a week of just maintenance volume work and also just eating up yourself, just making sure you have food enough, it will help you so much. I feel so much fuller. My until now, right now, my weight hasn't changed, but I did bump up my food, I reduced my cardio, I reduced my activities, yet I'm still looking at all these great results. So a recovery phase might be for you to just bump it up slightly. Number three, relaxation techniques, and that is a key component towards deloading itself. Have lesser stress days in place for this week itself. We as athletes, we cannot be spend time worrying about things that we cannot control, and the things that we can control, yet we are not worrying about it. So in a way, just make yourself relax. Do not rush into training itself. So finally, my fourth point on how to deload is to replace exercises or cardio days with different activities. As I did mention before in my videos, in this video itself, although you guys may not have seen it and you guys skipped it, I replaced one of my exercises such as the trap bar deadlift, which is very systematically fatigue for me, and I just change it up with some quad work with the leg extensions and the hamstring curls, just 2 sets of each. So in a way, I was able to work in the muscle groups that I liked, and yet still be able to relieve some of the fatigue that comes from a heavy trap bar deadlifting itself. Cardio days, such as just on the treadmill for 500 calories. Sometimes you guys know that it gets so tiring, and just to keep walking, and then the same uncle gives you the stink eye to think you to make you think that, hey, what's this dude still doing here, man? You guys exceeded the 1 hour of cardio, you shouldn't be here. So we're trying to get rid of that. No more stress. Just head out to go for a run, do some skipping, just enjoy nature in its beauty. I think that would be a lot more beneficial than just sticking on to cardio itself, just boringly. But as I'm now I'm in the competition prep, so I do like to stick variables. I like to make sure that variables are accounted for. So for me, I just cut back my calories by half, such as if I cycle 500 calories, I'll just cut back half, maybe do a 200-250 calories count cycle. So in a way that will make you progress, and that is how I planned my deload, and maybe you guys can take something away from it too. So that's all for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys really like the video, make sure show some thumbs up. It really helped me make all these videos itself. As you guys know that I'm trying to be more interactive on YouTube itself, trying to have that accountability now. So every single comment, every single like, really helps me. And even if you don't like it, just dislike, just put something down in the comment, constructive advice for me to improve these videos itself. So I'm gonna keep putting out this content, and maybe you guys can just put in the comments what you guys would like to see. And yes, that is all. My man, peace out. Deuces.